Hi everyone, from me and Millie. You might just hear her purring. She's here on my lap, as she often is for readings. She's got quite comfortable. She joined us for the last reading on my channel as well, which was the tea leaf reading, looking at energetic shifts. And now I come to mention that this reading actually follows on from that reading. We're looking into energetic shifts that may happen in the USA. And you may remember if you saw that reading, if not, you might want to check it out, that in the charms we had the US flag come through. And we had a lot of charms talking about transformation as well. So I was guided to follow on from that and look further into the US. Now, first of all, I remember that I got a few channeled messages when I picked up the charm. I seem to remember saying healing the nation, and it's just Millie's tail, you might see there, in case you're wondering. Healing the nation came through, and I believe exposing corruption as well were the things that came through in the moment in the reading. And since then I've done a bit of channeling as well that I'm going to share. In case you're wondering, by the way, I'm also scrying with water. No, I haven't just had my breakfast. Before I begin though, just to let you know a quick announcement, which is that I've reopened private readings for a short time. So they're open at the moment and available. I don't do them all year round, so if you're interested in a reading, make sure you don't miss out. If it says sold out, please check back at a later date when there should be more availability. I try not to do too many so that I can get them back to you in a timely manner. So that's why I don't have like loads at one time. There is the option to get an email sent for when they're open again. However, it's not automated, so you probably won't get a reply, to be honest, because I just can't keep on top of all of it in terms of the admin. So best to just sort of keep checking if you're really interested in a reading. And the link is in the description box below. Obviously, if you're watching this in a few months' time or later down the line, they probably won't be available because I have other commitments as well. Millie's settled down on my lap now as well. She'll get some treats later. She always does. She does anyway because we play. But she does when she participates in my readings. And actually after that last tea leaf reading when Millie participated there, I added a few cat treats to my Amazon wish list, just in case any of you would like to also reward her and send some treats. You can do so via the wish list. So again, that's in the description box if you're called to do so. Now that I've finished the intro, I've just looked into the water. Scrying, by the way, is a form of divination through water, in case you're wondering. I find it really helps me, actually. I should use it more in my readings. But I'm suddenly getting a lot of emotion. I got tearful as well when I was looking in the water. So some of you in the US might be emotional and anxious right now, wondering about what's going on, what's to come. I'm picking up on that. But I'm also feeling, because I'm trying to look at what shifts might happen there, that something might happen, something quite big, that might make people really emotional, seeing a lot of upset energies, angry, in fact. So that's really interesting. Now I'm going to share what I channeled last night as well, a few things I've written down. I'll start at the bottom because it's what I just mentioned, what came through in that reading, healing the nation. And then I heard med beds. Now, I have mentioned this in previous predictions readings on my channel. Some of you might have seen those. That I do see that happening in the future. There being healing. And what came through to me as well after that was a vision of, some of you might have seen it, there was recently a video on one of Trump's social media. I don't know if it was his Truth or X. And he was talking on camera about med beds being available for everyone, there would be healing. And then I believe the video was taken down. It's out there online if you search for it. Some people have posted it. Now, when I saw that, I just immediately felt glitch in the system, which is something I've also spoken about. There have been some glitches in the matrix. I've experienced it myself. I feel that went out actually for a sign, for people who, kind of want some hope for the future. They're wondering. It was kind of showing a glimpse of what's to come, I feel. However, I still get that divide in the word, like that split that I talk about a lot. So I feel that's in like the new earth energy. But in the other lower timeline, it's going to be different. I keep getting that. However, I do get that there's going to be healing. And obviously that came out in the last reading. The first thing I got was 8. Strongly seeing that. I've been seeing 8 a lot recently. Now, 8 can signify power, karma. What you put out there comes back. And then I heard economic crash. This is something that I've channeled before in my global predictions readings, obviously. But obviously we're looking at the US, and then I heard the dollar rules the world. Just came through like that. So a few things with that. I think behind the scenes, the dollar does rule the world. There's a lot of power with the 8 there, that comes from the US in terms of ruling different things around the world. But after this crash, I feel maybe that's a sign that the dollar then takes over as the currency, that one currency that I've often felt, and rules the world. But there's a couple of things that we could deduce from that, aren't there? Money ruling the world, so money, power, those that go after that. Sort of seeking the more 3D life that I said about that downward spiral rather than the 5D. So I'm just really feeling someone who comes into power and rules the world. And that does link to that last tea leaf reading with the Antichrist that came through, who I do feel comes from the US. I could be wrong. You'll see where this is going in a moment, but I really do feel that when this shift happens, the divide, there's healing, med beds on one timeline, and on the other, there's this energy that rules the world that's already quite well off, I feel. And there's one currency, also digital currency, potentially. Now, just then, looking into the water, I heard a voice come through. It's a male voice, quite deep. When they disguise a voice, I don't know what it's called. If any of you know, put it in the comments. The voice sounds like that, really deep voice. And I heard that voice say the command, I'll just spell it out, Kill. Strongly came through. And so I'm linking that to this energy and power with the 8. And what I saw yesterday in my mind's eye. In case you're wondering, when I draw images, it's to show that it was a vision rather than something that comes through channel that I hear or feel. I saw a gun, and then I saw a butterfly. Now butterflies obviously are a sign of transformation, but I often associate them with someone passing away. I often think of a butterfly, you know, it comes out the cocoon, transformation, new life, reincarnation. So this is kind of linking to the emotions that I was just feeling before from the water. A shooting, I did hear sniper, I forgot to write that down. And wow, yeah, I'm getting a lot of emotion again come through. Bear with me, please. Yeah, I just had to pause the camera, everyone, because I was channeling a lot of fear just then. I channel physically as well, in case you're wondering. So, I mean, some of you watching might be feeling fear. Don't drop into fear. Take what resonates, obviously, but there could be a lot of fear when this happens. I strongly feel this is someone, the person who goes is someone in power, quite well known. Now, could it be the president? I'm just going to put it out there. I don't really like to sort of say these things for sure, but I am getting someone in power quite prominent anyway. An assassination. Now, some of you will know that I predicted an assassination last year, and then there was the death of Charlie Kirk. So I'm getting something quite big, which would explain the emotions. And that would also explain the two worlds. Because if someone does that and then they take over the world, take over the US and the world, then that would mean that the current person in power has been eliminated. But in that other timeline, with the med beds, I feel it's different, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I'm getting. Take what resonates. I also heard a song, The Ferris Wheel, sung by the Everly Brothers. I love the Everly Brothers. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I wasn't getting any lyrics in particular coming through, just the Ferris wheel. So I feel that was the sign with that song. And so what came to mind first of all was the Wheel of Fortune in Tarot, which can signify destiny, karma. So that does link with 8 that we had before, something that's destined to happen in the US, I feel. And then when I was channeling further, I also heard famous theme parks. I was getting, obviously the Ferris wheel, fairground, famous theme park came through, and tunnels. So something being exposed, potentially, about a famous theme park in the US. I did do a reading on this in the past, by the way, in terms of what really goes on there and the tunnels. So check that one out if you haven't seen it. A lot's already been going on though in terms of clearing tunnels, and also quite a lot of significant people in power have been asked to leave certain positions rather than being exposed. So shifts have been happening in quite well-known organisations in the US. Not all of it has been disclosed. Some might be in the future. So I mean, to get the famous theme park, maybe we'll find something out. But as I said, a lot of people were just sort of asked to resign, and then they did. We saw a lot of resignations last year. Not sure about in the theme park in particular, but I believe the local airport, the CEO of that airport resigned. Around the time I did that reading, I remember seeing that, and I felt there was a link, because there's a network all around the world. It's global, but in the US in particular, in terms of corruption, and obviously that came out in my last reading, corruption exposed. So I do feel there's going to be some truths that come out, and more truths, because there's obviously some already with the Epstein files recently. Truth coming out there. And I also feel with Healing the Nation, stuff about the health system, Big Pharma, what people have been given. The list goes on and on. But obviously, the divine, the universe knows that they can't share it all at once. Got to sort of drip feed it and make changes behind the scenes as well, which is what I've been feeling the past year. Actually, I have felt it on certain websites as well. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed it. There have been subtle shifts, and the energy has shifted on some of them. I've noticed that. Not from many interactions or anything that I've had, but just the energy that I felt. Have any of you noticed that as well, felt that? Let us know in the comments if you wish. I just noticed in the water a dark figure. I couldn't see what it was, and it was moving up to the surface. So with that, the message I'm getting is something that comes to the surface, that's exposed. Could even be something that's unearthed, linked to the tunnels. But I'm definitely getting some news, something potentially that comes out. And with it, it was dark, so something not very nice, dark energy coming through, the darkness being exposed. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of emotions and fear that I'm channeling in this reading. So I feel a lot of shifts are going to keep happening in the US. I just keep being drawn to that. The dollar rules the world. That person in power being from the US, so there's going to be a big shift there, I feel, after the crash. I just paused the camera there a moment, everyone, because of the emotions that came through. And as I did, I saw in the water again a film reel. So it was like a square, and there were two reels, like what you get in a cinema. And then there was a line next to it. Now, when I get visions in the water, I have to deduce what it means. I feel something, again, linked to news coming out that could be a film, potentially. That's what I'm getting with that. Where, like, proof is shown. I really feel it's linked to possibly this theme park or something quite big, quite monumental. the truth about the past I'm getting suddenly that I'm channeling here. Yeah, okay, so there's going to be a film or many films shown in the future that expose things and piece things together in terms of that web that I feel originated from the US in particular, and then it's all over the world basically. Yeah, that's interesting how that came through. I'm just seeing in the water some initials, K and H, that I just saw there in particular. So bear with me as I just see if I get anything else. It takes time with scrying. Sometimes I do find sort of looking away and then sort of coming back, I sometimes see things. I'm just going to pause the camera, everyone, just for a moment. As you can see, Millie's just jumped back up to join us. As I paused the camera there, I did see something else in the water. A big mouth with sharp teeth, and I immediately said Jaws, i.e. the film. That's what I got. Maybe something around that film, the people involved, maybe the director, or is that linking to the film reel I saw? Something exposed around that. That's all I saw, everyone. So I've just got to sort of decipher what that means. If any of you want to share, by the way, in the comments what you feel from these visions, please do. I'm really feeling it's something around films, film industry. The fact that I saw that, and I saw the film reel. The theme park, yeah, like Hollywood, the big attractions that draw people in, the missing people, missing children, the tunnels, all of that. Yeah, it's all suddenly coming through to me now from Spirit. That's what I'm feeling, that is going to be the truth that slowly comes out about these different things. There will be healing in the future, not just physical, but emotional. Those emotions I felt at the beginning, it's going to be hard to take for some people, I feel. I'm going to leave that there, everyone. Did this obviously differently today. Sometimes I just do channeling. Glad that I've done it. I was guided to do it. So really hope that you've got something out of this. Stay in a high vibration of love, divine love. Send that love out to others, even those you might class as your enemies, those who've done these awful things, because remember, this is a spiritual warfare, and for some people, they don't know what they're doing. They're just heavily influenced by dark energies because of their own stuff. They haven't, healed, basically, their own wounds, the hooks that the enemy has used. So what's important, it's just coming through, as a final note, is don't bicker with those energies, because it makes it worse, can even affect your energy as well. So make sure you are grounded and stable in the light, shining your light, sharing your love. So on that note, I'll share my love with all of you. Thank you so much for watching, for all your likes, views, subscribes. It really means a lot. It helps me keep the channel going. sending peace of a night to you all.